So just relaxing, yogis, seated or lying down, wherever you choose to begin. And just having a few moments to settle. Breathe into your pose. Notice how much tension you're holding still from your day. On every out breath, maybe sigh and relax the shoulders a little bit more. Relax into the neck and the back. And just start to feel into your body. How does your breath feel following the inhale and your exhale? That flow of breath in and out the body. And just let everything start to settle a bit more like a snow globe that's been shaken up all day. Everything's starting to become more still. When we become physically still, it gives the opportunity for the mind also to find stillness. Coming into the present moment. Just observing what is, without judgment of anything, this present moment. And as we take a few moments here, just send your energetic roots down into the earth. And along with the roots, releasing anything that you no longer want to hold today. Just tuning back into your breath for a few moments longer. And those of you lying down, when you're ready, have a moment just to hug the knees in. Take a few moments to rock on your spine. And if you're seated and you want to just roll the shoulders and just move a few times just to get comfortable, we'll come to Zazen, our seated meditation, before we come into the yin practice. It allows us to just become quite still, even more so, much more present. So just take your time to come up to seated. And coming into whatever seated position is comfortable for you. So if you can sit with your legs crossed, great. If not, extend them outwards. And then just resting one hand over the other, Dhyana Mudra, thumbs just touching gently. And we'll take about 5 minutes. Mindfulness of breath. We'll count the out breath to 10. Then we'll change to counting the in breath to 10. And then we'll release the count. And then finally we'll just tune into all sensations that we feel, which is usually about 5 minutes with this practice. So let's close our eyes. Starting with counting each out breath 1 to 10. And after 10, switching to count the in-breath, still relaxing. Stay with the practice. And then after 10, releasing the count completely and just really sitting with the breath. And as we move into the last phase where we're very aware of the sensation around the nostrils as we breathe in and out. The temperature and breath on our top lip. And just deepening that mind-body connection. Let's just take one more conscious breath in this practice. And then gently returning back into the room, into your space, blinking the eyes open, just releasing the hands. Roll the shoulders, just noticing how that felt, whether you were really quite peaceful this evening, whether the mind was ever so jumpy, like the uncontrollable monkey mind that we sometimes get, or whether that I find that the counting, the first two stages, really does set you into quite a peaceful state to then sort of drop into the non-counting and the real observational sort of stage. So coming off cushions, if you're on them, let's pop them aside. We're going to start with a caterpillar, our first pose, where we come into a nice seated forward bend. If you would like to put something under your knees just to support this pose, then please do. It's a nice soft practice this evening, so loosening the tightness in the legs can feel quite nice. Otherwise, if you're quite happy, then just exploring coming forward. Release the feet and the ankles, any tension that you're initially holding. How does this pose feel initially? You might take a a minute or so just to really settle into this posture. As we loosen the neck and the head, and we just check in with our shoulders if they're tight or whether we can loosen and round them. Notice every now and then if you find that your head and neck are holding tension again and you have to become conscious. Nice pose for our bladder meridian. So following your breath, trying to be conscious of the breath in your belly. How does it feel? Can you soften the muscles in your face? Following the breath in the back of the body as well. Where is it starting to ease? Can you feel the stretch developing through the back or the back of your legs? Where is your threshold tonight? So we'll take 2 more breaths here. Just make them really conscious, really tuning into how the body feels in this position. And then gently, when you're ready, let's come up nice and slowly, really exploring what we feel as we just simply lift the body up and coming back onto the mat. Relaxing down. And taking a few deep breaths. Can you feel any of your chi moving around your body? Tingling, coolness or warmth? Where can you relax even more here? Is there still a bit of tension in your arms or buttocks, lower back? And just checking in how you're feeling emotionally today. Is there an emotion that's overriding everything else at the moment within? Or a combination of feelings that are sort of bubbling away inside? And would you say they're positive or negative? The funny thing with feelings is that actually quite often they are exactly the same, just opposite ends of a spectrum. And just by shifting along that spectrum, we can either improve or our feelings change in some way. So when you're ready, let's hug our knees in. Take a moment here. Lovely stretch and roll through the back. And lifting the head if that feels nice. So rolling up to seated again. Similar position, we're going to come into dragonfly. But extending the legs outwards. But still where we draw the body forwards. So we've already come forwards with the caterpillar. Again, if you want to put something underneath your knees just to support the bend in them, then that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, just popping the hands in front of you. If you have a bolster as well, you can always use the bolster against the forehead and rest the forehead. So depending on how you're feeling this evening. And then let's explore this stretch through the inner legs. Relaxing feet and ankles. And noticing if there's tension in your calf muscles or around your knees. And as we relax into this stretch that we feel through the inner legs is liver, kidneys and spleen meridians. Stimulating energy flow if it gets a bit stagnant through these channels. So keep checking in through the legs if there's any tightness that starts to find its way coming back in. Softening through the upper back as well, head and neck. All the areas that usually tension comes back. And when you feel like the body is sort of relaxed, staying aware of your breath. And being curious of what you feel in your body this evening. Is there a different sensation from the right side to the left side? Sensations through the front of your body and the back of the body. Keep relaxing through your legs. How are you feeling? What comes up internally for you with this pose? And as we sit with this pose a little longer, is there any room for movement? Even if it feels very, very little movement. Just developing the stretch. Keep relaxing if your feet tend to point and there's tension in the calf and the knee. And following the breath in your body. What part of your body is enjoying this evening? So let's take one more breath. Gently lifting up. And again, as we move from here, from dragonfly into neutral, what do you feel? Where does the relief come in first? Through the legs or the back perhaps? And gently coming down. Relaxing, really relaxing the back. And enjoying some deep breaths into your belly. How do you feel after that pose? Again, what emotions come up for you? So when you're ready, bending knees, hugging them in, and take a moment here. We're not rushing this evening, just enjoying the process of moving through the body, gentle rocks. As you tilt your knees away from you or you hug them closer to you, how does it feel on that lower back? So we're going to roll up, coming onto our knees. We're going to come into a pose called stick bug, which is not one that we often do. And we're not going to hold this pose for too long either. This is a pose where we work through our arms. What we're going to do is turn our hands backwards like this, so that the fingers are pointing towards our toes. If this is uncomfortable for your knees, then by all means get a pillow and you can sit back, and it just loosens that deep compression in the knee joints. So whatever feels more comfortable for you. In actual fact, this may even aid the pose. Some people might be able to get their hands really far forward. I can't do that. My hands need to come quite far back. So just choosing what props that you would like to use with this pose. We'll only take a few minutes here, and try not to overstretch. If anything, kind of tilt the body forwards until you find just a comfortable stretch in the inner part of your arms. So the inner part of the elbows are facing forward, fingers are pointing back. Try and relax here. Try and relax the belly as you breathe. You can rest the head forward a bit more if you want to. But as I say, this is quite an unusual pose to do. It's not something we do day to day in our activities. So try not to strain into this one. Just be very tentative and explore a soft sensation. We're working very much with our lung and heart and the small and large intestine. And the heart and the small intestine are the meridians that are associated with summer. This element of fire that we're in at the moment through the calendar year. So we're just going to take a nice breath here, and that was about 2 minutes. So just noticing how that felt. Gently lift up, come out of the pose. You might want to sort of shake the arms a little. We will take neutral, so just lie down. It's not often we'll do intense arm poses, so let's just come into neutral Shavasana. Bring the arms out to the side and just relax, noticing what you're feeling. Perhaps quite a lot of tingling in the base of the hand or the wrist, the inner part of the forearm. Can you feel sensation stretch on the inside of the elbow and coming up, the bicep area? Noticing which fingers you might feel chi movement. And where we've stimulated heart and lungs specifically with the inner part of the arms, which is the yin channels, the yang are the ones that move through the outer part of our body. So heart and lungs, does it feel easier to breathe? And just watching this sensation fade through wrists and hands and arms. And then hugging in. Let's draw knees in. Notice if you liked that pose or not. It's quite an unusual pose. But now and then it's a curious one to try. So we're going to come up into supported bridge. So if you've got a block, and if you would prefer to use a bolster instead of a block, then please do as well. If you feel like just being a little bit softer, I'm going to use a block this evening. So lying on your back, bending knees, bringing the feet as close to the buttocks as you can. I like to come up onto tiptoes and then lift up and place the block underneath the back, not on the lumbar spine at all, really sort of the top part of the sacrum, that flat part that lines up with sort of the top of your buttocks. So keep adjusting the block a few times if you need to, and if it's too high, then just lower the block onto the next level down. And then just trying to settle into this supported bridge. It might take a few moments, just soften through the shoulders as you relax through the inner part of your thighs and the back part of your thighs. The legs may want to lean outwards. And try to relax the neck and shoulders. There's a tendency to probably hunch where we connect to the mat. And then deep breaths. And here we're getting a lovely stretch across the belly and the front of the torso. Again, stimulating the channels that run through the body. Liver, kidneys, spleen. You might find you want to tuck the chin in and lengthen through the back of your neck. Try not to twist the head in this pose, always just sort of keeping it level if you can. Notice if the buttocks are tight or if there's any sort of tension in the lower legs. Relaxing your arms, the upper part of your arms. Just keep looking around the whole body. If at any point this develops into too much of a painful pose, please always come out. Keep relaxing shoulders, relaxing buttocks and inner thighs. How do you feel? Notice your feelings here. This is a lovely pose for solar plexus, heart and throat chakra, but also root and sacral. Let's take a few deep breaths. And then gently and very controlled, lifting your body up, come onto your toes, lift away from the block, just pop it to the side and just ever so slowly coming back down to the mat, lying in a neutral pose and enjoying what you're feeling. Deep breaths. How does that feel through your spine? I know some of us do have issues with lumbar. So just noticing if that really kind of eases any tension that you've been holding. Relaxing shoulders and arms. As that sensation fades, let's bring our knees into our chest. Take a moment to do this if you just need to sort of adjust the spine as you curl inwards. Being very observant of how you're feeling. And then let's roll up. We're going to come into the hammock pose. So this is where you're going to need your strap. So making the strap into a nice ring. If you haven't got a yoga strap, then you can use a belt or sort of a dressing gown cord that is securely, fastened into a nice sort of circle. And then as we lie down, popping the strap round the ball of the foot. Let's lift the right leg to start with, and then just tuck the strap behind the base of the skull, so not the neck. We want it at the base of the head, the skull. So you'll find that the straps probably cover your ears a little bit, and depending on sort of how big or short the circle is of this strap, then you might be able to straighten your leg, or you might like to keep a nice bend in the knee. Depends how tight your hamstrings are and how you're feeling there. I'm going to keep a nice little bend in my knee today because I can feel a lot of tightness through the back of my leg. And with this pose, you can push into your foot and get a nice stretch through the back of the neck if that feels comfortable. Or if you want to, do the alternative and let the head become heavy, and it will pull a little bit more through your leg. So play with both gentle movements. What feels nice this evening? Can you allow the neck to sort of really become loose? And as you push maybe with your right foot, there is a really gentle stretch that you can't often feel in other positions. Releasing that stretch, you can let the head become supported in this strap. Feeling a bit more of a stretch through your leg. What do you notice? Is it buttock? Is it hamstring? Do you feel it behind the knee? Possibly sensation in your hip. So just really noticing what you're feeling. And you can really bend a little bit more into the leg if you want to. Let's take our awareness to our breath. And you can easily gaze down at the belly, watching the rise and fall with each breath. And then if you want to, it's up to you. I offer this as just a little bit of a play with this strap. I like to just unhook it from the head and bring it into the hands and just have a little bit of movement here as I extend the leg and just hold on to the strap. Just noticing where you can straighten it, where you start needing to bend it. And then maybe you can swing the leg out to the side, noticing how that feels. So just have a little bit of a play with some movement. If you want to bring the leg across the body, you might feel kind of quite a deep stretch in the hip. So just gentle movement. You might be able to swing the leg out to the side and have it lifted quite high, just noticing what you're feeling and where you're feeling it. And so just taking a nice breath, and we'll lower the leg down. You can swap the feet if you want to now, or just release into a restful pose. just as we feel the after effects from that side. So let's just take a few breaths and tune in. We do this pose every now and then, not all the time, but really notice if you're feeling any kind of new sensation, if there's a bit of a tightness, thinking about maybe what other activities you do in the week that can reflect through this pose. And so let's come into the other side. If you want to hug the knees in, then you can, but if you just want to swap the strap over to the other foot and come straight into this one, then you can as well. So again, strap round the ball of the foot and then round the base of the skull bone, base of the head, not the neck. Strap is to avoid the neck. And it will probably just cover the tips of your ears. And then just coming into this pose. If you need to bend your right leg and lift it up for any reason, then you can, or keep it extended on the mat, whatever feels right. And noticing if there's a real difference in the tightness from right to left leg here now. Try and relax the abdominal muscles as you breathe. Notice if there's a tension there. How does it feel? Does it feel like you can explore one side more than the other? What's your threshold of stretch between your right and your left leg? Deep breaths, trying to relax your shoulders and neck, and gently pushing or pulling whatever sensation you want to create. Relaxing tension in the thigh, top of the thigh, if you do find there's a bit of tension there from time to time. Enjoying your breath. How does this feel? Do you notice anything in your hip? Is it all in the hamstring? Noticing how bent you'd like your knee to be. And even in this pose, can you relax your face? So if you want to, just again, like we did before, you can unhook the strap from the head, keep it round the foot, and maybe just lengthen the leg a little and play with bringing it from side to side. Whatever feels right in whatever movement you enjoy this evening. Just being really curious of how the body feels. in this moment. And we'll take another breath or two. And gently lowering your left leg down, unhook your foot from the strap so that you can just relax gently into a neutral pose. Enjoy your breath. What can you feel through your body? Any tingling in the foot? Through the leg? So when you're ready, just hug your knees in. Enjoy a little rock. We're just going to take a nice short pose just to finish with bench pose, lying over a cushion. Just to soften and ease our back. So rolling up. Grab a little cushion. And with the legs extended in front of you, take the cushion a little bit further away from the body. And then we're just going to lie back. And you can play with where you want your cushion to be so that you don't have too much of a curve in the lumbar spine. It's more in the upper back and thoracic. So let the head tilt backwards. It should be supported by the sort of the top of the cushion. If you need something under the neck, you can. We're only going to take a few minutes here just to ease out our back before we relax. So enjoying some deep breaths where we open through our chest and throat, both chakras stimulated. Relax the upper back, relax the mid-spine and lower back. Just look for any tension. Just allow the cushion and the mat to support your full weight. Relaxing your face. And then one more breath. Gently lift up your head slowly, lift up the upper back, and then if you can just pull the cushion away, come straight back down again for a few moments. Just a few breaths, just to tune back into your body in a neutral pose. Nice sigh, release any tension. How does your body feel? Can you think back to how it felt when you started your practice? Any tension or tightness from your day? And how it feels now, perhaps a little bit nice and open and stretched and more fluid. So when you're ready, if you'd just like to hug your knees in, again, enjoy rocking on your back. And choosing whether you'd like to stay lying down and supported with blankets and cushions, or whether you'd like to come to a seated position. Listen to your body. So relaxing. Felt drawn to take some angel cards this evening. So we'll see what guidance maybe is being offered to us today. It's always lovely to receive a little inspirational message. It might be very relevant or perhaps relevant to somebody else, something that you can pass on. So that's how I always like to see. I'll spread them across. And if you have a question in mind, or whether you just would love general guidance, then we'll see what comes. Oceana. Let's see what this message is for us. So this one says, take action. You're in touch with your truth in this situation, and you need to trust your gut and lovingly assert yourself. So the additional message here is dive right in. There's no need for more research or time. You can trust your feelings on this one. I will guide you through the actions that are necessary, considering the circumstances. Your main concern is to avoid procrastination at all costs. Break the situation down into small steps so that you don't become overwhelmed. Then take those steps in regular intervals. You already know what to do about this situation, and you have made up your mind to take action. I am here to validate that your decision is on your path of light. Although there may be some temporary hard work or emotional turmoil, this will soon be replaced by a lightness of spirit akin to gently floating on a summer breeze. Sometimes you may feel too emotional or too tired to take action. That is because you are unsure of the correctness of your decisions. Usually unfounded guilt is the culprit that is draining your energy and happiness. This is when it is very important to call upon the angels to shore up your faith. Notice how the doors open smoothly with each step you take. This is one more sign that you are taking the best course of action. So hopefully that will sit with one of you. If there's been something that you're deciding to take action on. So relax now. Gentle breaths, soft body. Just being in this space. So very gently now, bring your awareness back into your body. Take a few breaths and just feel the breath move through your body. And just be feeling very grateful and enjoying that breath, the simplicity of our breath. And then gently, if you're lying down, you can start to move the body, and if you're seated, fingers. And then just beginning to stretch and move just a little bit more in whatever way feels right for you. Hugging the knees in, rocking the head. Deep breaths. And then in your own time, just roll up to seated. Again, just take a few breaths as you come to seated and ground your energies. And we'll draw our hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.